For over 70 years, the physical architecture of our computing power has been locked in time. Even though our modern interfaces have become sleek glass and aluminum, the underlying system still relies on the exact same logic of moving electrons through mined silicon that engineers established in the mid-20th century. This rigid silicon framework has obviously delivered incredible results. It gives artificial intelligence the sheer processing power to assist doctors with highly accurate medical diagnoses and translate text from any language in real time. But pushing these specific silicon components further is creating a severe physical bottleneck. Training and running modern AI models demands astronomical amounts of electrical energy. This massive power draw generates extreme waste heat and contributes directly to a rapidly mounting global electronic waste crisis. To build systems that are significantly faster and more efficient, engineers are realizing they have to abandon rigid, mined materials altogether. Instead of manufacturing computer processors in a factory, we have to start growing them in a lab. The technology we rely on has stopped mimicking the natural world. It is actively becoming biologically alive. Historically, when we wanted to connect human biology to a machine, the process was highly intrusive. We forced the body to adapt to the hardware, relying on tools like an electroencephalogram, a cumbersome medical device taped to the scalp to measure brain activity using thick wiring and plastic nodes. Now the hardware is dissolving into our biology. Researchers at UC Davis recently implanted 256 microscopic sensors directly into the brain of a paralyzed man. By reading the precise electrical signals his brain generates when attempting to move facial muscles, the system translates his thoughts into spoken words on a screen with 97% accuracy. Even external monitors are shedding their bulk. Instead of wearing a heavy wired cap, doctors can now use a custom inkjet printer to spray an electronic tattoo directly onto a patient's scalp. The device is made of a liquid conductive polymer, a special type of plastic ink that carries electrical currents, making the interface completely weightless. This dissolution of rigid hardware removes the barrier between the user and the device. Users no longer need to push physical buttons or tap screens. Our organic chemistry is actively joining the hardware loop itself. While we embed technology into our bodies, other engineers are embedding biology directly into their computers. A Swiss company called Final Spark recently built a functioning computer platform made entirely of lab-grown human brain organoids, which are tiny, three-dimensional clusters of living neural tissue. Each processing unit contains 4 of these microscopic organoids, measuring just half a millimeter wide. They are kept alive in a nutrient bath and hooked up to standard computer systems via 8 tiny electrode wires. Because these processors are made of living human cells, they have to be motivated to learn. Engineers actually dose the organoids with dopamine, the exact same chemical your brain releases to make you feel good, to reward the neurons for successfully forming new computational pathways. This diagram shows the true objective behind this biological integration: power consumption. A standard silicon AI model requires massive, factory-sized energy output, while a biological organoid processor does the exact same computational work using 100,000 times less energy. This wetware approach extends well beyond human tissue. Scientists in the US recently wired the mycelial networks of king oyster mushrooms, the long root-like threads fungi use to communicate, directly into the electronics of a robot. The biological electrical impulses of the mushroom successfully drove the robot's mechanical movements. Whether using human neurons or fungal roots, biological networks outpace rigid silicon. Because they are alive, they inherently possess the ability to react, adapt, and physically rewire their own cellular structures to solve complex problems. This animation shows how computational physics is also evolving to mimic biological adaptation. Google recently developed a quantum chip called Willow, designed to solve random circuit sampling, a complex mathematical benchmark used purely to measure processing speed. Instead of calculating one root at a time like a traditional computer, a quantum system acts like a rat exploring every single corridor of a maze simultaneously, across multiple parallel states, finishing the calculation in minutes rather than millions of years. By abandoning classical binary physics, where a switch is strictly on or off, This simultaneous processing directly mirrors the multi-pathway efficiency of a living organism, reacting to a constantly shifting environment. While our machines adopt the flexible behaviors of living things, we are actively converting human biology into rigid, indestructible data. Locked inside an archive in Austria is a 5-dimensional memory crystal. It is a vitrified glass drive capable of withstanding 1800-degree Fahrenheit temperatures. Etched into its nanoscale voids is the entire human genetic code, a complete, apocalypse-proof backup of our species. From quantum calculations exploring parallel states to our DNA being etched into volcanic glass, we are moving past the strict engineering limits of the 20th century to harness the core rules of life and physics. The final stage of this convergence is technology that actively repairs the physical world. In fact, scientists have engineered living plastic, swarms of microscopic bacteria designed to actively consume and dissolve synthetic waste. This capability was first observed in 2016 at a Japanese recycling plant, where specific bacteria were found naturally degrading plastic. Researchers have since upgraded the enzymes, the proteins these microbes use to break down chemical bonds, drastically accelerating the decomposition process from centuries down to mere months. As we look toward the 2030s, the computing experience will stop existing entirely on flat screens. It will become a seamless physical blend of 3D spatial environments, highly responsive robotics, and living organic tissue. For 70 years, building our technology meant mining resources and degrading global ecosystems. But a biocomputer made of responsive bacteria could be deployed directly into a lake, acting as an autonomous, living sensor to detect and neutralize toxic runoff in real time. The ultimate endpoint of human engineering is not to build metal boxes to separate ourselves from nature. We are engineering our machines to become a living, integrated part of nature itself.